Peace, 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 peace. If you're ready for part two, like I said, this is cool, man. This ain't where the preacher want to hurry up and have you sitting down and like, I'm done and he ain't gonna explain. This is school, man. Let's get this correct, Morris. My throat be dry, so my wife make me a concoction to keep the vocal cords going. So I'm gonna give everybody a quick second to log back on, man. Oh, let me this text out real fast, and we're gonna finish up. We'll give it about one more minute. We're gonna give part two real fast. Okay, gotcha. I see it. Oh, excuse me, Morris. That was pardon me. Oh, I'm sorry. I was right. I was just responding to someone. Yep, yep. That's how it goes. All right. Um, so, Morris, as we stopped, we got it to the point where we were talking about why certain things were named for certain individuals, and one of the questions was why does some Moors and some people that call themselves Negro, Black, and Color, whatever you want to call yourself, they like to say that Africa got its name from Publius Cornelius Scipio, who was given the abdomen or the nickname Africanus after he defeated the great general Hannibal Barca, and then called themselves Asiatic. Yet the same so-called some Moors, so-called Negro, Black, and colors never say Asia, and do the research. They never say Asia. Got his name from the brother of Scipio, who was rewarded for his victories in Asia with the Abadnomen Scipio Asiaticus. Lucius Cornelius Scipio, who was better known as Scipio Asiaticus, was given the nickname Asiaticus by the Romans, just like the nickname. You see what the science is right there. So the word Africa is an indigenous name used by a dozen North and East African tribes for thousands of years. Because if the pen is not right, and if the pen doesn't match the archaeology, Morris, if the pen doesn't match the archaeology, you must change the pen, Morris. You know? So was Africa named by or after a Roman general called Scipio Africanus? Hmm? Even if you do not know the many indigenous words and meanings, Moors, which translate to Africa, it should be obvious, Moors, that I mean, I would think that. And so you have, some that's sincere or some that's being how can I say purposely misguided. For what reason? If you were research and a scholar and a philosopher and a theosophist, the research is there. It's not hidden, but that is a lie. And like I said, we've proved that this is a lie many times. And ones that's spreading that as truth, that's a lie. And they did. You can't know history when something so simple and something so easy can be found. I mean, come on. Africa is not a European word, and it's not named after the Roman, whose name was Cornelius Publius Cornelius Scipio. Ancient African sources of the word Africa include the word Ephri and the Berber word Afur, which is the name of the Banu Ephraim. We cleared that up from Algeria and the trip up and the Lithuanian. Africa can also be derived from the Egyptian Afrika, to turn the opening of to turn the opening of the Ka. The turn the opening of the Ka. Ka is the generic double of every person, and opening of the Ka refers to the womb or birthplace. Africa would be, for the ancient Egyptians, Moors, the birthplace. These and many other ancient sources include hieroglyphics. It makes reference to the title or the designation of Africa. I mean, it's just there. The Roman general who defeated Hannibal was named Publius Cornelius Scipio. He was best known for defeating Hannibal at the final battle of the Second Punic War. You see what I'm saying, Morris? So that we gotta know. My party on you. He's like, man, would you please go back and say that over? I just logged back on. Okay, I'm gonna start back right here where we stopped. We got to wrap this up. All right. So one of the questions was asked, why do some Moors, and I got to say this, Negro black colors, or whatever brothers want to call themselves, he said, why do they say Africa got its name from Publius Cornelius Scipio, who was given the abdomen? And when we talk about abdomen, that means nickname Africanus, after he defeated the great general Hannibal Barca, and then called Asiatic. How many Moors? Now watch this. Yet the same Moors that give you this, or the so-called historians, whatever title they put on themselves, they never say Asia got his name from the sea, who was in Asia with the abdomen, or the nickname Scipio Asiaticus. Lucius Cornelius Scipio, who was better known as Scipio Asiaticus, was given the nickname Asiaticus by the Romans. And so when it's no reason, we have to be correct and be willing to do this time. I'm not here to judge. Even if you do not know Moors, you do not know, because you should be willing to do the research. But we're going to use this just for conversation's sake. If you don't even know the many indigenous words and meanings which translate to Africa, Moors, it should be obvious that Africa is not a European word, Moors. The city or towns called Africa. If Africa was a European word, there would be other places named Africa. Don't you think, Moors? I mean, if Europeans ever go place in a flag on something, you don't think they're gonna name after them if it's there? Come on, man. Come on, man. When they conquer something, they name themselves after that. We're gonna finish it. New Age, so-called Moors, Negro, black in color, whatever scholars they like to say, will falsely tell brothers and sisters and Moors, Africa got its name from the Romans. Lectures, I proved this in college campuses. I proved this historically, geographically, biblically, if you want to say that. So people spreading this lie. I really don't, you can't know history. And if you do, if you proclaim you know history, you should be willing to stand corrected. It's just what it is. Africa is not a European word, and is not named after the Roman, whose name was Cornelius Publius Cornelius Scipio. There are multiple ancient African sources of the word Africa, including the Berber word. I gave this, so I got to give another summary. Ifri, I-F-R-I, or Afri. The Berber word Afer, A-F-E-R, which is the name Banu Ephraim, from the Algiers, a Tripolitanian. Africa can also be derived from the Egyptian Afrika, A-F-R-U-I-K-A. to turn toward the opening of the Ka. Kabbalah, written Kabbalistically, the Temple of David, Timhoth Abbas. The Ka is the genetic double of every person, 18 to 202 BC. That earned him the title or the nickname Africanus. Scipio was also called by the nickname the Roman Hannibal. He was called Africanus because he defeated the great African general of all time. Rome, I repeat, did not create the name Africa, and anyone who claims they did is mistakenly or purposely a liar and a phony or a fraud. Remember, when I say a person can be sincere, like, hey, I was sincerely wrong, and a person should be able to admit that. But when they're not willing to admit that and stand on that as truth, then that is a problem, Morris. Flat out. But just from historical fact, more, Africa is not named after any Romans. The Romans named themselves after us. All through science, just like in masonry, man, the sons of Muslims, everything on there represent them. The daughters of American Revolution. Man, when I tell sisters the Eastern Star, that's all about you. They named themselves after you. The Whigham parties, all that is you. Hey. Africanus is an agnomen. An agnomen. An agnomen. What is an agnomen, ma'am? Brothers and sisters? To be clear, more was given an agnomen for defeating a general named Hannibal Barca. The agnomen given to Publius Cornelius was Africanus. Publius Cornelius Scipio was given the title Africanus. Many thousands of Romans and Africans Moors were given the agnomen Africanus. Do the research. That's all we have to do. So nobody can tell us nothing. We can stand correct. Roman naming practices varied Moors greatly over the centuries between the founding of Rome to the early Middle Ages, per se. But however, family, the practice of the elite during that time period or that dispensation between the mid-republic, and the early empire has come to be seen as the classical Roman naming convention. The classical organization and how things are separated, Morris. But this is likely to be because this is the period that provides good evidence of naming practices of the best documented class in the best documented Roman period, Morris. So by the end of the Republican era, a name for an aristocratic male citizen comprised three parts: the trinomina, the praenoma, or the given name, the nomen, or the simply Gentile simium, being the name of the genes or clan. I hope you follow, and cognomen, family, the genes, and sometimes a second or third cognomen called the agnomen. That was added. Islam. But the nomen and cognomen were virtually always hereditary. When I say if your birthright's connected to your last name, I don't care how your face. One of the biggest wars was the war between Ferdinand and Isabella. One of the biggest wars in history. And we don't know about that. But the nomen and later the cognomen were virtually always hereditary. During the imperial period, the number and options for elements within a name considerably increased Moors. The naming conventions for the later period grew out of a desire to indicate status. Follow me. In a more wide ranging than could be shown by the tria nomina. After the cognomen became hereditary and lost its function, was pious for someone who displayed virtues like honesty, reverence to gods, or devotion to family, which is proud. Plucher, agnomina. But unlike the nomen and the cognomen, an agnomen was usually not inherited, Moors, unless the son also had the same attribute or did the same deeds. Although some victory, agnominia, like Augustus, which is majestic, and Germanicus, the German conqueror, and of course Scipio Africanus, the conqueror of Africa, eventually became handed on as additional cognomina or cognomina. I hope we understand what I'm saying, Moors. An agnomen, which is plural, agnomina, the Roman naming convention, was a nickname, just as the cognomen was initially. You follow me? The cognomina eventually became family names. So agnomina were needed to distinguish between similarly named persons. Oh, watch this, Moors. As the agnomen was an optional component in a Roman name, not all Romans had an agnomen. Pseudo Probus uses the hero of the Punic Wars, Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus, Probia, Nomna, in quatuor species, dividuntur, pernomen, nomen, cognomen, agnomen, praenomen, ad puta, Publius, nomen Cornelius, cognomen Scipio, agnomen Africanus. What I'm saying, Moors, in parentheses, men's personal names are of 4 types. I just gave you those 4 types. I am agnomus. We got to know this stuff, man. How these are titles. Agnomen comes from the outside and in 3 styles: from personality or physique or achievement, from personality to physique or achievements, because that is a form of achievement, no matter what way we look at it. From personality such as superbus, haughty, and piousness, displaying the Roman syndrome of virtues including honesty. That's the syndrome they had, because they want honesty. Reverence to the gods, devotion to family and state, etc. From physique, such as crassus or fatty, or from achievement, such as Africanus and Cretus, from their victories in Africa and in Crete. Africanus, Creticus, and the likes are also known as victory titles. Victory titles, not their names. For example, Gaius Marcus Coriolanus earned his from the capture of Corleone or Corleone, however you pronunciate Africa. So he was best known for defeating Hannibal 218 to 202 BC. At Zama, feat that earned him the agnomen or the title or the nickname Africanus. Why? Because he defeated the great African king, Moors. Scipio was also called by his nickname, the Roman Hannibal. He was called Africanus because he beat the great African general of all time. I mean, so, Moors. So if somebody said the title or the word or the naming Africa came from Scipio Africanus, no. The birth name of Scipio Africanus was, I repeat, Japan's. The birth name of Scipio Africanus was Publius Cornelius Scipio. Publius or Publius Cornelius Scipio. Publius Cornelius Scipio earned the title Africanus after he defeated General Hannibal Barca. Right? We broke that. I broke all that down so you could go and check the lecture out, man, how we break the Africot and all the different words, how it's ancient, and how people make things up. But before we leave, like this, I like to clear this up. Because this is one of the biggest questions that was asked, and this was one of the students. He was like, "Why do some Negroes, black colors, and Moors I see on TV?" And he was like, "Even and this is the question that was given to me. So I'm not saying brothers or so-called brothers that say they scholars are sincere what it is. He was like, why I'm seeing brothers on these documents like Hidden Colors saying that Africa got its name from this European, this and that and other. And this is what he says. Why do Negro, black, and colors, and even some Moors say that Africa got its name from Scipio, who was given the Abadnaman nickname Africanus after he defeated the great General Hannibal Barca, and then called themselves Publius who? Come on, you gotta do the. Oh man, you want the one they say that they named Africa after Mo, but yet now listen to the science. You know he had a brother, and yet the same Moors or Negroes, whoever want to call themselves, they never say Asia. They never say Asia. Got his name from the brother of Scipio, who was rewarded for his victory with the Abdomen, which is a nickname. Scipio Asiaticus. No one never tell you about that history. It's there. Research is right there. Lucius or Lucius Cornelius Scipio, who was better known as Scipio Asiaticus, was given the Abdomen or the nickname Asiaticus by the Romans, just like his brother. Africa is an indigenous name used by a dozen North and East, which spells out to different tribes for thousands. So I don't want to go over and over, but one of the Moors as that's who Publius is. When you are true, you can go back. I've done lectures with all the history. That's not true. I told you what Abnomens is, and it's not true. That's not his birth name. So how can Africanus be his name if that's not his birth name? That was given after he beat Hannibal. And he got that title, or the Abdomen. So the title Africa did not come from Scipio Africanus. Like I repeat, the birth, you see what I'm saying? Publius Cornelius Scipio earned the title Africanus after General Hannibal Barca let him, when they say he beat him, and that was the Battle of Zama in the Second Punic War. It's there, Moors. So I just challenge Moors to do the research. Like I say, I'm not here to convert anyone. I'm a Moor, and I understand how the temple was set up. I'm not here to bash nobody. But if we're going to do history and science, we must stand correct, because we must be teaching our babies something that we learn late, early. And we can't be standing on our pride, because that's not science. If we're standing on our pride, then that's 360, and that's just material wisdom, Moors. If we're standing on our pride, then that's just material wisdom. And we know 360 is just a sum of material wisdom or material knowledge. We're trying to be the circle in a circle. The 720 is the total sum of material and spiritual. This all is synchronicity, Moors. It's all about the connection to God, man. History has been connotated all over, man, and it's just what it is. But I give a brother on YouTube was like, man, can you please give a little bit of piece of the breaking that Africa down? And I'll be done. Moors, just like I was saying when we talk about things Kabbalistically, when a person will try to get you with spookism, and I say, brother, the reason why they're giving you with spookism because they don't understand science. And 33 levels is just a snowman. You get 32 and 33 degrees when you put on your fez and your your turban, but it's supposed to be science under this fez and turban. So if you're part of the temples, if them brothers not teaching science, then you should question it, because you should get the 32 and 33 degrees. That's no science. We have 99 degrees out of Memphis, Mizraim is Egypt in the scriptures. More as I hope we understand that science. I hope we understand that wisdom. We have to. If we don't, then that's a problem. This is a synchronicity. There's nothing hidden anymore in science. Our eye, the eye of God, whatever more want to connotate you with that, it's not in, because this is no secret. The sacred, meaning dear to our heart, but it's no secret. This is no European masonry. This science, fallen humanity is, but I'll give you this little bit more and I'll be done. There are multiple and ancient sources of the word Africa, including the Berber word Ifra and the Berber word Afra, which in the name of the Banu Ephraim, right? So the Ka is the genetic birthplace. So Africa to the Egyptians was the birthplace. I can go on and on and on. So when you put it all together, you get the word Africa. Now, watching science, what I'm talking about, Ka, the flush of God. I'll show you all the signs and symbols. Just more just connotating things, because their degrees is not on there, and they're not going to connect the dots. You can show me pictures. I don't care if you got books. I don't care if you have a whole bunch of stones. If you're not right and you don't understand the science and understand that this is a connection to you and God, and someone telling you that they got to send you through something, and you're not understanding this about you. It's about you being an alchemist. It's about you to go. It's about you. You have to activate your chakras. Things should be explained. This is the esoteric explanation. When I'm connecting God and man, this is all esoteric, all esoteric. When we break down the number system, the H in a number system is 8, the E is 5, the A is 1, the R is 9, the T is 2. That's 25. 2 plus 5 is 7. There we go into that 7, that complete man. Why? Because everyone is born in this circle, and 7 is the perfection on the physical plane. That's the physical plane. That's when we have the circle in the circle, Moors. You got the 7 lotus or the 7 wheels. You have the 7 laws of the universe. Also, we have what? The 7 Kemetic principles. We go in our Moorish Quran, chapter 5. I think it's verse 11 through 20. This remind me of the workman tools. What? The tools we use to create the mind. The 12-step ladder. Signs and symbols, man. Correct yourself. I, self, law, and master. God, generator, operator, destroyer, talking about yourself. Mason, self-soul, the compass to circumscribe the world, the ruler to measure it. Just when I tell you the circle and the square, birth got 90 degrees. You got the square, you put 90 in one corner, 90 in the other, 90 in the other, 90 in the other corner. What you get? 360. The circle, put a line down it, put it in the middle. What you got? 90 on one, 90 on the other, 90 on the other end, 90 on the other end. What have you just done? Put both of them circles in the square. Astronomy, nature, that's pertaining to man. That's pertaining to man. Mason, self-soul. The as above is below. The two coming together. That's in one part of history. I'm gonna show you the other. The as above, below, or with the heavens and the physical coming together. The as above or below. The circle with the two lines. I'm not gonna call it a cross. We can call it what? Sustainability. All that the fear. The fear is what? You fear the earth, fire, earth, air, river, which is water. Without that, no life. Allah, arm, leg, arm, head. When I tell Moorish, the 6-point star per se, which is connotated, and the 5-point star, which is connotated, is all yours, Moors. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Hebrew, her web, pertaining to, there go those webs. It's 360 in that web. We can break the number system. Y7, P7, T 2 equal 4 P's equals how many? 4 7s. You see that? You see the science? 7, 7, 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. We know what this sign and symbol is. That's the Latin Zonami. Zonami, excuse me, the star child. When we talking about synchronicity, when we talk about the fire, the earth, all those astrological symbols pertaining to what's above. When we talk about your brain, when I say every constellation have 3 deacons, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the functions of your brain. Every constellation have 3 deacons. I'm talking about your hippocampus. I'm talking about that Christ. All is pertaining to man. All your chakras, understanding, will, all your chakras, man. The compass and the square, the gnosis, secret wisdom. The 3 wise men is the pineal or the pituitary. All connecting to man, Morris. You see what I'm saying? We got to do this science. So multiple and ancient sources of the Africa was turning toward the opening of the Ka. So for instance, when brothers and sisters scare you with what about the Kabbalah? It's all your science. Things are written Kabbalistically. If you follow my page, Elysius Levi, let me see if I can find this book for you, and I'm gonna finish it. If I got it, I got it somewhere, man. I got so much stuff, but it's Abbas. If you ever, I'll do that lecture another time. There's nothing scary about it. You know what I mean? It's nothing pharmacy store or a Kabbalah symbol. I'm off with you, bro. What you mean? Pharmacy store or Kabbalah symbol? Oh yeah, connotated. Man, when you get even a lot of my sisters in the medical field, when they graduate and they put that, I say, man, but no European came with science and medical field, man. If you do history, most Europeans was dying at the age 20. They didn't have no birth. That's why they came to the continent of Africa, man, or Iquibalan, or Mexima, or whatever you want to call it, historically. So when we talk about science, it's documents that prove the things, man. You know? So it's nothing scary about none of this stuff, man. It's nothing scary about, it's written Kabbalistically. And if you research it, Kabbalistically, we research the Baphomet, is written Kabbalist Abbas. Research the science. That's all, Morris. But I love you all, man. Love. Oh, before I leave, let me show you. I gotta promote my books. And one of the emperors was on. I think I gave her the wrong information. But if any Moors want to order any of my literature, man, all you have to do is download the Cash App to your mobile phone and then download our office number, which is 702-24775. All our books is tax exempt. You get a tax exempt receipt and you also get a tracking number. So and I also, like I said, I also print historical books as well. I mean, I have some historical books. I'm gonna share a couple. I got so much stuff that Moors probably can't get. The Secret Jubilation of the Secret Moors, Signs and Symbols by Peter Lambert. I got a whole bunch of ancient books, but let me promote mine first. I made an Iron Royalty coloring book for our children because what was given to me by one of my elders, one of the Moorish elders before he passed, he was like, and they called me young scholar, man. And I'm like, I'll take any title that my brothers and sisters give me. But he was like, brother, write all that wisdom you have down. You know, no matter if the brothers and sisters get it, because you're going to see others are going to use it. But at first, yes, it was disheartening that not your own family and brothers and sisters that say they Moors, when they ask about things, when I talk about, I say, I have the literature. I didn't come with nothing. I gathered and compiled. Every Moor should be saying the same thing. But this is the coloring book we made. So I created some figures and some pictures of our young kids and sisters as kings and empresses and things, so they can see pictures of themselves and as royalty. I don't want to show the whole book, but we also have the interpretation of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. We should that is, so we can stand correct and ask questions. That's the interpretation of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. 4 famous Asiatic scientists in history, things that we can teach our kids, and they can do this in school with all this, the science. When the brother don't want to share stuff with you, I have the science. I have the science, and they know it, and I share with my brothers. Yes, it's a challenge because I'm creating literature. I have the whole company in my garage that we do. It's there for you to master yourself. Black scholars who debunked it, Eurocentric propaganda. Some of our scholars that we might not know, Amos Wilson, Dr. Cress Wilson, some other PhDs and scholars that debunked that Eurocentric propaganda that we might not talk about. We made a vegan treat book. And the reason why we created these things, Morris, when I do lectures, I come in love, truth, peace, my 2 cents, health, and wealth. And I come from a perspective of wisdom and knowledge. I love myself and I love my kind. I love everybody else as well. But I use the analogy of a polar bear and a black bear. Does a polar bear and a black bear, do they have the same genetic makeup? Can they eat the same food? No. Therefore, we must be eating food that our genetic makeup, like I said, it's our vegan cookbook. Our vegan treat book. Sufism and the Triple Ruler, featuring the Commit and Adapt manual and the use of our carpenter tools. When brothers and sisters begin to confuse of what more science is, when I say more science is Islamism, yes, it is Sufism. That's the ancientness of so-called Islam. It's the synchronicity of God and man, Buddha and man is one. And also the triple roles of the Adapt chamber, meaning the understanding all of 3 religious rights, the Parsalit, the Fatah right, the Judaism right, understanding all those, and understanding the Commit and Adapt manual and the use of the carpenter tools, which is in our Quran, and the Commit and Adapt manual. When it speaks about our 7 Kemetic principles. That's what our science is about, Moors. I hope Moors know that. Concrete of Moors Islam, or I gave you that. You are what you eat. Eat good, look good, and feel good. This is our vegan cookbook. This is our vegan cook. And I say, like I say, Morris, when I go do lectures, all others are using them and they're flying out. I ask for a donation of $33 just for shipping. All you have to do is download the Cash App. You get a tax-exempt receipt. You download the Cash App to your phone. Our number 702-272-4775. Coming about 3 can receipt everything. But I also have ancient history books that maybe some might have. I don't know. But one of the ancient books is The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War, a new look at the slavery issue by Lawrence R. Tinsler. Research this history, how they try to make the stuff expensive. And I get all this from my association. I'm part of the Philosophical Society. So I get literature, man. 103 amazing facts about the Black Indian of the Western Hemisphere. Man, I got so many documents, man, from the Library of Congress, man, that prove so much stuff about the Moor and about the 4th of July, certain things when it pertains to some more deeper. And that's why people use the science. I got a lot of old stuff, man. So the connect the dots when the shy to, man. And others are using the science as a craft, and more is arguing over of this and that and the other and not understanding science and doing commerce. But I love you all, Moors. Love, truth. Oh, also the books are available PDF. So say if at the moment you don't have the $33 for a donation, you can get the book for a donation for $16, and you can download that as a PDF. Some people ask me, why you don't put your things on Amazon and all this? Because I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? And I just hope it catch a fire before the flesh is gone, for my brothers and sisters can see the wisdom. But I'm teaching the wisdom in the elementaries and to all different nationalities about business, about who we are as a people, as a nationality. You're not a misnomer. You're not Negro, black, color. I prove all through history in a I can show you all through you wrote about the Moor. I can show you history. Abraham Lincoln, before he was a president, black, for you to be as a person. I can show you in history that black law. I can show you that white download. I travel, man. Everything is messed up. About companies and contracts and things and doing this and doing that, the other. And I say, well, we shouldn't comply. We should be getting the skills to do this. And when brothers be dissing certain things in your community, the infrastructure in your community, if you're not organized, somebody have to explain that to me. I'm little old my nonprofit status. I'm getting land when houses are torn down. I don't have to pay the property tax for tennis shoe money, $40 and $50 lots, where I'm trying to buy a whole neighborhood and turn it to a charter community and have my schooling and my spirituality, my temple right on the same street. All the houses and laundromat. We can do this. We can do this. Brothers know how to build. We just need to be organized and stop complaining. Moors, take the time to understand what a nonprofit is. When you're tax exempt from charitable, scientific, religious, you can do all those things. You can raise money. You can teach. You don't have to worry about nobody teaching your kids because you can create your own schooling. Education, charitable, scientific, religious. Same way the temple set up. They have a tax ID that I use. I'm from the temple. I have a tax ID. So we got to understand business, man, and stop to do money, because how are you going to do things in your community? How are you going to generate commerce? And how are you going to pass down something to your generation? How are you going to pass down that corporation and that business and show your children that, look, you are a business. Let me show you how to structure things, take things out of public and put it in private, lawfully. Let me show you who you are historically. I'm telling you, brothers be, how you think you're going to get things donated? Like, for instance, brothers be donating to these charities, and they do nothing in the neighborhood. And I say, brothers and sisters, you can donate to my charity. I'll give you a tax exempt receipt, just like the Goodwill, just like Boys and Girls. I do the same thing in Arizona. I've had soccer camps that's free, sponsor me. So now I'm trying to build our own school. We can do this, man. I teach what non-for-profit is all about. You got to understand why certain religion wanted to separate church and state. Because when you put certain historical aspects in it, you get that religious lie. Preachers say when you deal with facts and history, go crack. Theosophists, man, we understand the esoteric and the exoteric. We understand analogy, parable, symbology, denotation, connotation, arbitrary, subjection, esoteric, exoteric. We understand all that, so we can't get caught up in linguistic apartheid or outer meaning of something. A person is using an analogy. We understand this science, Morris. So I hope we understand business when brothers be saying, and the first thing I say, okay, well, what are you doing? Oh man, you just doing lectures, collecting money, going over. That's not commerce. So when you go do lectures, how are you telling people to change the infrastructure of their community? Right then. Are you telling them their business? Are you telling them that they can have their own business credit standing on the entity on the Duns and Bradstreet, that they can take everything out of private, of personal, and put it in private? You are a business, and you can teach this to your kids. And when they graduate high school, they have their own company, their own business credit, not just no tax exempt number. Uncle Sam, a $10,000 check. That money doesn't go to the voluntary, but a whole things. But what I'm saying here is understanding business and commerce. To how you're going to change the infrastructure in your community, and you walking past your community and you look at all this stuff and this tore down stuff. Yeah, you can buy it yourself, which is honorable and noble. We should be buying this as an organization under the auspices where we can be a charter community, where we can have our own schools there. I'm telling you, we don't have to argue about nothing. We have our own, the neighborhood. Every time I go back home, I see people sitting on abandoned porches. I'm like, what do you own in the neighborhood? Nothing. That's how you be pushed back and then create project. Going up, they push you out the community. And I tell Moors, the infrastructure is going to change. Man, I can pull up old documents from Flint back in the day. That's how it's going to get. Now they doing college thing. They buying up everything. So-called silent investors. Those are other nationalities coming in the city. Land is gold. And like I said, I'm doing my part, man. I'm just trying to show brothers how you can do this all over. I'm out here in Arizona, man, and I see my so-called Hispanic, Latino brothers, which are my indigenous brothers, they buying up property, fixing them up 2 or 3 days because they're all fixing it. And we can do this. And we complain. And those are skills that we need to be teaching, craftsmanship. We got out of working with our hands. That's when I talk about one body, many parts. That's cool. That's where the trade come in. That's how we teach. That's how we build up our infrastructure Moors. I teach Moors how to start it, to get their business, to get their quick 30, to establish that credit, to register on the Duns and Bradstreet, so you can start establishing business credit, so you can do things as a business. There's certain ways more, and we got to take advantage of that. We're signing, we going in contracts, not knowing certain things, not reading certain things, not looking at certain things. Just signing, even when you get your home, you just signing. Not understanding there's only one thing in you signing, promissory note. The other thing you signing willingly is you get power of attorney. You must put thing, take things out of public and put it in private the same way every other nationality does for hundreds and hundreds of years. There's certain things, legal things, lawfully. The article is not a real law because someone read one line and then you run with it. And I'll be like, man, go to court with that. For instance, arguing over your name in caps. That's my other degree in Indigenous People Law and Policy. So I sit on court cases when I go to view things for my dissertation. And one of the brothers went in arguing over his name in caps. He had his fez on. And I was trying to forewarn a brother. I'm like, Mo, arguing over your name in caps isn't even the fight. He like, what you mean? She's trying to argue. Like, Mo, you don't know. I said, Mo, you here, right? On what? Argue your name. I said, so you lost. I said, is that your name? Yes. So it don't matter if you got admitted to that's your name. So you lost. And he felt so stupid right there and lost. I'm like, that means nothing. All these encounters don't mean nothing. You already admitted it's your name. You here. There's certain things that you should do, motions and things that need to be done. There's certain things, Your Honor, for the record, there's certain things that need to be done. But with that being said, Moors, I love you all. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, health, and wealth. Islam. Peace.